Namaste, namaste, everyone. Hey, I'm Sophia, and I'm a spiritual mentor, a holistic practitioner, a multidimensional healer. I help my members reconnect to their inner wisdom. My work blends intuitive guidance, body based healing, and energy work. This is a series that I am sharing with the different sessions I offer to my online clients and a combination to my in person clients. Today, I share with you crystal Reiki healing. So let's go back in time and I will share a little bit of my background. So, as you know, I am from India. I am originally from Goa, and if any of you know, Goa is a coastal. There's a lot of beautiful beaches. It's known for the tourists coming over. Back in time, there was a lot of hippie culture. There was a lot of markets by the beachside, and it continued. And somewhere down the line, as coming from this from Goa, we always went to the beachside to places where they had markets. And I remember going to one of my first beachside markets. And it's called the flea markets. If any of you have been to these Anjuna flea markets, it's has this beautiful, full of color, vibrant music, and a lot of things being sold. The one thing that I got drawn to were crystals. So I remember I would always go by, like it was like sparkle in my eyes. Not knowing what it was, I remember buying the first crystal that drew my eye very clearly was amethyst. I remember one of the sellers even had a book that he opened to kind of say, here is what it means. You can take a picture of it. And I remember, just looking at it. And at that point, I had a phone. So I took a picture of it and I brought it home. And I remember it was just something that it was like, yeah, crystals. Growing up, I used to buy crystals and I would give my aunt and my uncle because they loved having these display pieces in their home. Fast forward, being a Reiki healer, I was tuning into the chakra system, understanding the different energy centers and how it works, going forward into coming to understanding of the energy and the crystals. I remember my friends buying me crystals that I still hold so dear to me. I have them buying pendants for me for my birthday. And yes, so it has always been something that I have carried along the way. But when I tuned into getting trained to be Reiki master, I chose to tune myself into a Reiki crystal master. That's what I'm certified in. And it was not only about, oh, the crystal, the Reiki, but somewhere down the line, I started to hear the messages. Uh, if you know me, the way crystals can be used, they have so many different ways that different healers along the way have used. Some place it on the body. I place it on the body. I also make what we call a crystal grid. So I have a set amount of crystals that I put on a as a grid, maybe on your picture, maybe on your natal chart, maybe on your intention where I write. Maybe you can send, I've asked my clients to send me their intentions on a A4 size paper, do their drawings, do their manifestation. It could be in your language, it could be in any language that you like. I print it out because it's You've written it with your intention. I print it out, and then on that paper, I place the different crystals with the intention, and I leave it on for sometimes a few hours, sometimes overnight. I do this for my clients who are going into the healing, like a surgery or something like that. Now, I wanted to share a little bit what happened yesterday. So, if you haven't watched my previous or my live that I did yesterday, where I shared about Reiki, so as I was talking about Reiki, I actually had a crystal in my hand that I was just rubbing it in between my hands, and while I was talking, it broke apart. It broke in three pieces. And if you are following me on Facebook, I shared a picture of the three. It broke into three pieces. And of course, there's a fourth piece, the bigger piece. Now, what does that mean? Many people over the time said, "Oh, my crystal broke. Oh, that's a bad thing. Oh, the myth of if you break a glass, it's a bad thing." I have come to understand that it's merely the energy moving. When you set an intention on a crystal, it's not the crystal, it's your intention that you're clearing up. And sometimes the crystal holds that intention, and when it starts to get heavy, it needs to break apart. Now, this crystal that I have in my hand right now is quite solid, right? It's not something that is very fragile, but I, as a crystal healer, have been through my phases. And mind you, disclaimer, I don't ask you to take a hammer to a crystal, but this is what happened with me. So there was a moment where this is, I believe, 2 years ago, when was doing a bit of like sessions with crystal art. I co hosted a session with an art healer. She does fluid art, conscious art, which is using paint and just on canvases and moving it to make its forms and shapes. And what I did was I had some crystal remains from, when you have a lot of crystals, sometimes you have some crystals that fall apart. And I wanted to use that in the art. So I used it. So I had one amethyst crystal that was cracked. It was damaged. So I knew that nobody would buy it because, again, it had a few edges. Because in the world we live in, there's a lot of polished crystals. They all need to be in different form, like, beautiful shapes and sizes. So this crystal, I was like, what if I took a hammer to this crystal and I put it into a plastic bag. I took a hammer and I went once. And I was like, was I too soft on it? Okay, I'll go again. And oh my world, I had the crystal telling me, you cannot break me. I decide when I fall apart. And that was such a big turning point for me as a crystal healer, because over time I've come across many of my members saying, Sophia, my crystal broke. Perfect. It's okay. It's meant to. If it needs to, it's okay. If your crystal gets lost, it's okay. But always go to inwards and ask, what does it mean to you? If it makes you worried, that means there's something that needs to shift your maybe point of view or your understanding. And this is what I like to share with my community. When I say I'm a crystal Reiki master or a crystal healer, I work with crystals with understanding there's a spirit in them. And many of you may know Colette. the beautiful Colette Bernard Reed. She has her beautiful. I'm pulling out her crystal spirit deck, and that's where I also worked with crystals and the different healers that have been doing research, doing a lot of this work much before me. As an intuitive, I have kind of taken what comes to my energy field. And when I started to connect with the crystals, it would tell me which crystal to place on my clients, which crystals I need to carry for myself. And if any of you are here and you have been to a crystal shop, do you know how you get like, I want this, I want this? Yes. And this is where I remind my clients, my friends, to be mindful when you go to a crystal shop and how to look, the intention, what crystal you want. Otherwise you're going to come with a whole bag of crystal back home, and then you will question, oh my gosh, why did I buy so many? So understanding where, what you need. And so coming back, and I will share another story, as it is a story time, an experience that I have had as a crystal Reiki healer. I speak a lot about the crystals I work with right now that are coming from Bosnia, and the ones that I'm holding and I'm talking about that fell apart yesterday is the crystals from Bosnia. And when I went to the pyramids, I did not know what they were about. I just had this full inner trust of, I'm going to go and experience the energy of the crystals and the pyramids. So when I went to the pyramids, and I was finding the crystals inside the pyramid, or even at the crystal shops that were there, I was very drawn to buying the raw crystals. So that was my first trip. I was connected with the dragon crystal. I They look beautiful. They have the scales of a dragon, but they're also called the Super Seven because they have seven layers of calcites. Now, the seven layer of calcites is a fragile one. It does fall apart easily. So you have, it's a very delicate crystal. But again, if you have a solid one, yes. But I have had a few smaller versions where they have fallen apart. Now, that was my first experience going to Bosnia, to Visiko, to visit the pyramids. But my second trip, and I had the intention, if I can go and take crystals myself, what joy would that be? And I told myself I'm going to do some volunteer work because there are volunteers that come to dig up the crystal mines or the tunnels in the pyramids. So I went there with that intention, just with the, I would love to able to dig crystals. And it happened. I went for the Lion's Gate, a retreat in Bosnia. And during that retreat, while I was helping, a lady came to me and she greeted me and she goes, "Hi, you are here for the retreat. Tell me a little bit about it." And instead, I was like, "Hey, tell me about yourself." And she's like, "I'm a volunteer." And I was like, "Oh, I wish I would, I would get to take." And she goes, "I know a place." And that experience showed me how, when we go to the core of finding crystals, they're muddy, they don't come in a polished form. Nothing against polished, but the most raw crystal from the root was where I was like, my experience working with raw crystals, the love for it. And now, if you see me around my house, I have beautiful raw crystals. They may have, I use them for my crystal grids, and that's the one part also that I was given these crystals to bring back so I can share. And this is where I will tell you the beautiful stories of how my clients, and coming back to, as I mentioned, as an intuitive healer, I work with clients who come to me with seeking help, guidance. I had one of my clients come to me with the confusion of, should I have a baby or should I not? Is it the right time? Am I ready to have a baby? And I remember saying, okay, we will clear this doubt, this fear that you have in you. And before she left, I placed a crystal, one of the Bosnian crystals, in her palm of her hands, and it fit perfectly on the lines of her palm. And I told her, take this crystal, put the intention to get clear on what's for you, not from a place of ego, not from a place of what I must or who wants me to have a baby, but when it's the right time. And a few months later, she messaged me saying that she was pregnant. And how beautiful. Later, she told me that her partner was from Bosnia. What a divine connection, right? So, yes, as a crystal Reiki healer, I work with the spirit. And today I am going to, as I have the cards in my hands, and many of you, if you have followed me for a while now, you have seen that I talk about not just placing crystals on the body, but I have crystal cards, oracle cards, where, ooh, this is a beautiful one. So what I do is I place the crystal cards. I pull cards and I place them on the four corners of my room, or maybe if I find more that comes up. If you've ever had a oracle card reading, you pull cards, right? I pull cards and I leave them to have that intention. So while I am doing healing and I'm facing, I tune in, connecting with the crystal, because as a crystal healer and a one who travels, I can't walk around with all my crystals, but I can tune into that is what I did. And today we get the beautiful Celestine crystal, which I will share with you the message that the crystal have for today that is coming through. So, the meaning of this crystal is connection to the angelic realm and the divine energy, clear channels for communicating with your guides and the universal consciousness. This is a beautiful card. Imagine. So, I want you to take a minute, close your eyes, imagine this beautiful light from the skies above coming through a beautiful heart with the beautiful colors of purple, pink, and the feathers right by the right side of the heart. And this energy, this spirit that's, see a face with the eyes closed. And right on top of this face, this energy ball, right above the crown, that's the energy that I would like to share with you. That crystal energy is beautiful. Each crystal comes with the beautiful guidance, but at the core of it all, it's you, the intention that you place on the crystals. The crystal comes with a beautiful energy already that supports you. So work with it, play with it, get to know it. So, this is my share. I have so many more stories when it comes to crystals, and but this is just a snippet of how I work with crystals. If you have any questions, if you would like to know more, as I always mention, I do offer a gift session where you would like to get to know and connect with me. It is a call where we plan more on which session is for you because I have a few sessions that I do and I customize my sessions as you will hear along the way. So, yes, you have my details. If not, you can always request for them. You can find me at fiasoulwisdom.com and you have me on my socials. Sophia Rego on Facebook, Fia underscore soul wisdom on Instagram. Come find me, follow me on different social medias is where I share my different messages that come through. So thank you for joining me today, watching me on replay. Have a beautiful crystallite energy. Have a lovely day. Bye for now.